Chapter 8 છે તો.
6. This was 8th. From where you have got this? From the course material?
Yeah.
Okay. मंगलमय मंगल करण वीतराग विज्ञान नमो ताहि जाते भये अरिहंतादि महान करि मंगल करि हो महा ग्रंथ करन को काज जाते मिले समाज सब पावे निज पद राज. Yeah, this is the 6th chapter that we are looking at. Right. So, where it starts from?
Yeah.
And next page, you see the next page. Meaning, instincts, yeah, this is the same. Yeah, this is the same. Okay. So, today we are beginning our 5th semester and we are starting with Moksh Marg Prakashak, written by Acharya Kalp Pandit Pravar Todarmalji. We already have covered chapter 1, 2, 3, 4. 5th we are excluding because exclusively the 5th chapter is the discussion on other sects, apart from Jain, other sects, what are the faults in their religion, and it is because of that only Todarmalji was awarded a death sentence, because those followers, the devotees of those other sects, they instigated the king that he is writing bad things about our religion. And king was also not a Jain, so Todarmalji was given a death sentence. So why this has been written, the 5th chapter? He could have avoided it because he want to establish what is true religion, right? And in every sects, every caste, there is some kind of religion which they feel is the correct one, just like we feel that ours is the correct one. But the thing is that we have this viewpoint, Nai and Praman, and they don't have it. So they are not able to comprehend the actual nature of the pure soul. It is one side it is permanent, the other side it is having temporary modification every moment. Okay. So this kind of the nature of this soul substance, they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the scripture to comprehend the pure nature of the soul. Okay. They believe, most of them believe in creator God. We don't believe in creator God. Okay. There are few sects who doesn't believe in creator God, but then again they believe that everything is impermanent, right? Just like the Buddhist. So every religion have their faults, and Todarmalji read those scriptures and found out the faults in them, and that all has been explained in chapter number 5. Since we are all Jain, so we have not kept that chapter in the syllabus. But if you want to make an argument with other religious people, then that is the chapter that you should read, because Todarmalji has explained with logics that in your scripture only, from their scriptures only, Todarmalji have mentioned facts which are quite opposing in nature. Okay. So anyway, that chapter is not in our syllabus, but in this chapter, Todarmalji have discussed about Kudev Kuguru Kushastra. false deity, false preceptor, and false religion. Okay. Unless and until you have access to true God, true scriptures, and true preceptor, you are not able to comprehend the actual nature of the soul, actual nature of the fundamental elements. And if you don't know the actual nature of the fundamental elements, right belief is not manifested. Okay. So to start the path of liberation, you have to get to the right belief. And for getting the right belief, you have to know the nature of each fundamental elements as it is. If then error remains, then also you will not be able to manifest right belief. So this chapter is quite important from that perspective, uh, where we are going, and what is the true nature of the true gods, true preceptor, and true religion, that we should know. Otherwise, our purpose of manifesting passionlessness, detachment, is not going to be fulfilled. Okay. So in this particular chapter, Todarmalji has negated the false deity, false preceptor, and false religion, and what are its faults, that also they have logically explained here. So it's a good read. This is the 6th chapter, and then we have 8th chapter in this sem. 7th chapter we are going to cover in the 9th sem. So in between next maybe next 1 year, we are not going to study Moksha Marg Prakashan. But again, we will come back with the 9th chapter in the 9th sem. Today we are starting the 5th sem. Okay. Anyway, we will see the Mangalacharan of this chapter 6 also. It's written in Hindi. Transliteration version is available here. Yeah. मिथ्या देवादिक भजे, हो है मिथ्या भाव, तज तिनको साचे भजो, यह हित हेत उपाव. Meaning is also given in the next page. Instincts like false belief, etc., false belief, false knowledge, and false conduct are found in mundane being from beginningless time. There is no beginning. Okay. So this delusion is also there since beginningless time. And the cause of their reinforcement is the adoration of false deity. So you understand the situation. Already since beginningless time, the false belief, the false knowledge, and the false conduct was already there. And with the adoration of false deity, false preceptor, and false religion, okay, that is being again reinforced, okay, by adoring them. So first we have to stop doing this, adoring false deity, false preceptor, and false religion. And the next step will come, that delusion from beginningless time, that we have to get rid of. So it's a two-step process. First step would be to get rid of adoration of false deity, false preceptor, false religion. How this could happen? By identifying the true God, true preceptor, and true religion. Simple. Okay. By identifying that, you will be able to make the difference between false God and true God. Okay. And similarly, false preceptor and a true preceptor, and a false religion and true religion. Okay. And then by studying the 7 fundamentals, understanding the 7 fundamentals, making the right decision about the 7 fundamentals, you will be able to get rid of the delusion which is there since beginningless time. Okay. So this is the first step that we are going to discuss in this chapter. Stepping in the path of liberation is possible only on their abdication. Abdication means renouncement. Okay. Abandon. Therefore, the same are being discussed here under. Now, this chapter is very important from the point of view that if you want to manifest right belief, then you have to do this in the very first place. In Chedala, we read about 25 characteristics, not characteristics, 25 flaws. 25 flaws a right believer doesn't have. Can anyone recall what are that 25 flaws? Soumya is not there. Soumya would have known.
So Sanshay.
Yes.
Oh, I don't remember all the 25 though.
So it is not Sansay but Shanka. Shanka Adi.
Yeah,
So
doubt.
eight are those. Okay. So 8 characteristics, 8 right characteristics. Opposite to that are the 8 flaws. Then 8 kinds of pride. 8 mad. Shankadi 8 dosh. Okay. Then 6 anayatan. Anayatan is false god, false preceptor, false religion, and their followers. Okay, this 6. So 8 plus 8 plus 6 is 22. And then 3 mudita. Mudita is again a wrong belief regarding the deity, preceptor, and religion. Okay, Dev Shastra group. So 25 out of these 25, you can see that at 3 places this has been discussed. So these are the 25 flaws. If you get rid of these 25 kind of flaws, then you will be able to manifest the right belief, right? So at 3 places, so where the first 8 flaws were mentioned, there also there was the fourth characteristics, amud drashti. Okay, there also they negate the false deity, false preceptor, false religion. Then in 6 anayatan, there also they are negating this. And then in the 3 mudita, last 3 of the 25 flaws, there also they have negated this false deity, false preceptor, and false religion. Okay. So this is again a very important thing, because at 3 places this has been discussed. You can realize what is the importance of this understanding. Then we have another reference from Tatvat Sutra, 7th chapter, Sutra number 23. There also they have mentioned the flaws in right belief. Samyak darshan ke atichar, dosh, flaws. Okay. There also they have mentioned that if you praise others' religion by mind or by speech, then also you are uh, you are undergoing a flaw which ultimately is going to turn your right belief into a wrong belief. Okay, so you should be very aware of what you are doing. At every step there is a responsibility involved as a seeker. If your target in life, if your aim in life is to get liberated, then you have to get into the path of liberation. And the path of liberation begins with right belief, right knowledge, and right conduct. So getting to the right belief, you have to, no choice, you have to get rid of this false deity, false preceptor, and false religion. Then only you can proceed to manifest right belief. Okay. So in this context, this is very important chapter, because the whole effort that we are doing to manifest right belief, that will derail if we are involved in any kind of this activity. Okay. That doesn't mean that you develop a feeling of hatred to these. No, you have to be in equanimity. You know what is the truth. At the same time, you know what other peoples are doing. But having known that, you should not develop a hatred to them. Okay. No feeling of aversion to them. Only equanimity. Because the biggest example that we have, Indrabhuti Gautam. the chief preceptor of Bhagwan Mahavir, was a Vedant scholar. He had 500 disciples, but within no time, he manifested right belief and he went on to become the chief preceptor of Bhagwan Mahavir. So the transformation happens very fast. It doesn't take days, hours, or years, something like that. It happens in just how much you are prepared. Again, it depends on that. Okay. So those times were very simple times. People were very ethical, and uh, if they feel that this is the right one, they would have adapted it. And that's what Gautam Gandhar did it. And that's how he became the chief preceptor, and ultimately he got liberated. Okay. So the transformation happens very fast. Today, somebody is there under the uh, influence of false deity, false preceptor, false religion. Okay. Tomorrow he may come out. We don't know. Okay. So we should keep an open mind, broad mind, and we should not develop a feeling of aversion towards them. Okay. That is the ultimate thing in this introduction. Okay, so now we will see what are the characteristics of false deities. So first we will consider false deity, then the discussion will move on to false preceptor, and then ultimately into false religion. And that's how this chapter is going to come to a close. Okay, so today we will try to see the characteristics of false deities and denial of faith in them. Okay, who are the true deities? First we have to understand. Right. So who are the true deities? Who are the true Dev?
Panch Parmeshti.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Sadhu also comes under Dev?
No, actually, no. It's Arihant and Siddh.
Yes, now you are correct. Right. So if we are little bit also careless, no, wrong things come out. So we have to be very particular what we are answering. Your objectives are on. Everywhere you need to apply this thing. Calmly you have to analyze the question and then only you have to answer. Okay. So the true deities are Arihant and Siddh only, because they have manifested complete passionlessness and complete knowledge. Vitragta and Sarvagnata. Okay. Arihant is a Hitopdeshi, Siddh Bhagwan is not a Hitopdeshi. Okay, that will do. But the first two has to be manifested to qualify for true deity. Okay, so these two are only true deities. Everyone else is a false deity. Okay, so now we will see what are their characteristics. Okay, we'll begin. Roshni, you start reading. Characteristics of false deities from
Yes,
there.
sir. Characteristics of false deities and denial of faith in them. Adoration of those who are not benefactors of the self, but are fallaciously treated as benefactors, are false deities. The adoration of false deities is done with three types of purposes. Some adore them with the purpose of attaining moksha or liberation, some for gaining benefit in the next birth, and some others for temporal gains in this birth. But no purpose is served, rather, some specific harm is caused. That is why their adoration is a fallacy. The same is being explained here. Many people adore these deities for the purpose of attaining liberation, whose adoration is advocated in other sects as instrumental for liberation. But liberation is not achieved. Their description has already been done in the previous chapter about different non Jain faiths, and many people adore the deities described in other sects with the purpose of gaining happiness and avoiding miseries in the next birth. But fulfillment of this purpose is possible only by engaging in virtuous deeds and avoiding vicious deeds. But they indulge in vicious deeds, and they say that the Almighty will do good to us. But this is injustice, because it has not been possible that the Almighty would punish someone and would not punish some others for their vicious deeds. One would obtain the fruits according to his inner instincts. God is not the doer of anybody's good or bad. In the process of adoring such devs, they kill other jeeves and foster their sensual pleasures by eating, dancing, etc. in the name of Dev. In the name of Dev. But one cannot escape from suffering the consequences of vicious instincts. Everybody regards hinsa and passional acts as a sin, and the consequence of sinful acts, or pap, is believed by all to be harmful, and in the adoration of false deities, there lies the involvement in injury and passional acts only. Therefore, by adoration of false deities, no benefit is obtainable in the next birth.
Okay, good. So you see, three types of purposes. Okay. First one was the purpose of attaining moksha. Okay. First line, if you see, adoration of those who are not benefactors of the self, but are fallaciously treated as benefactors, are false deities. Okay. So the true deities we know that Aryant and the liberated soul, see the Bhagwan. Okay. Everyone else is false deities. Okay. So they are not the benefactors, but they are treated as benefactors. That's why they are false deities. Now, the adoration of false deities is done with three types of purposes. First purpose, purpose of attaining moksha, liberation, first point. Second point, some for gaining benefit in the next birth. Okay. And the third one, some others for temporal gains in this birth. Okay. So next birth, this birth, and the first one was attaining liberation. Then in the next paragraph, sorry, in the same paragraph only, but no purpose is served, rather some specific harm is caused. Now what is this specific harm? Can anyone say with the discussion that we had in the introduction?
So you will start getting false belief.
Okay.
That's the biggest harm.
So already the false belief was there since beginningless time, and by indulging in this false deities, you are fostering it.
Fostering it, yeah.
Right? So that is the first loss. What could be the second loss? You bind demerits. Okay. You bind demerits karma. Okay. This has been explained in page number 246. So we are in 237 now. If you get to 246, yeah, 246. There is an answer in between the pages. You are having the same page number or different page numbers, Himali?
So the online version has different page numbers, but I think
Okay, okay.
what is wrong in believing or worshipping those of no, this is Vedic.
No. Further, you go further. One minute. This one. No. Next. Still go. Next. This one. Answer. Here someone may say, let it not be useful, but by believing and adoring them, no harm is caused. So specific harm we were discussing, here is the answer. If there be no harm, then why would we forbid? Okay. Firstly, due to fostering of false belief, the right path of liberation becomes remote and inaccessible. Okay. So you are fostering the delusion that was already there. So you go away from the right belief. Okay. This is the first loss. Big harm. Secondly, owing to the bondage of inauspicious karma, miseries are caused in future. This is another harm. So you'll remember this two harms. Okay. First one is your right path right path of liberation becomes remote. First one. And the second is you are bonding inauspicious karma. So as the fruits of them, miseries will be caused in the future. Okay. So it is best that we don't get involved into it. Okay. We come back to our chapter again. So this specific harm you should remember everywhere. This is the main point in this whole chapter. Okay. This specific harm you should remember. Okay. Irrespective of what is our background, irrespective of what we have been doing in the past. Okay. Here we are here to analyze what is the truth. Okay. So when you analyze what is the truth, then you have to put in all the logics and then you have to arrive at a conclusion. Okay. There you cannot just simply say, since my forefathers were doing this, so I am doing this. No, this will not work here. Okay. You have to be very alert in analyzing and coming at a decision. Okay. So this specific harm we have discussed. Now the 3 points: purpose of attaining liberation, then gaining benefit in the next birth and in this birth. So the first point is discussed in the next paragraph, first line. Many people adore those deities for the purpose of attaining liberation, whose adoration is advocated in other non-Jain sects as instrumental for liberation, but liberation is not achieved. Their description has already been done in the previous chapter. So 5th chapter was about non-Jaina sects. Okay. And this chapter is about those who are Jain and they still indulge in this kind of activities. For them, this is the chapter. Okay. So this was explained in the previous chapter. Okay. Now the second point. And many people adore the deities described in other sects with the purpose of gaining happiness and avoiding miseries in the next birth. Okay. But fulfillment of this purpose is possible only by engaging in virtuous deeds and avoiding vicious deeds. But they indulge in vicious deeds and they say Almighty will do good to us. But this is injustice, because it has not been possible that the Almighty would punish someone and would not punish some others for their vicious deeds. Okay. One would obtain the fruits according to his inner instincts. God is not the doer of anybody's good or bad. In the process of adoring such devas, they kill other jivas. In some religion, they call it Bali. Like in Kolkata, there is a Kalinath temple. No, I think she is a woman goddess, I think. So people go there and offer animals, So they kill others, They kill other jivas and foster their sensual pleasures by eating, dancing. What is this Garba? Garba was traditionally a kind of prayer to that deity, Ambaji, And then it manifested into a entertainment kind of thing, So in the name of religion, they do this kind of wrongful activities. Okay. In the name of devas, in the name of religion. But one cannot escape from suffering the consequences of vicious instincts. Everybody regards hinsa, injury, and passional acts as sin, and the consequence of sinful acts, pap, is believed by all to be harmful, and in the adoration of false deities, there lies the involvement in injury and passional acts only. Therefore, by adoration of false deities, no benefit is obtainable in the next birth. So second reason was here justified. Now coming to the third reason. In this birth, okay. Now in this birth, for that there is a special discussion on the peripatetic devas. What is peripatetic devas? Vyantar. You must have heard that someone comes in the body of some other, then his language changes, his voice changes, and he says that do this and do that, and if you don't follow, I will do this, I will do this. So people get into fear, right, and obey his instruction. But in reality, what is it is? One substance cannot do anything of the other. Okay, this principle you are well aware. So how could he can do bad to us? If there is a rise of inauspicious karma in me, my bad will happen even if you are not doing it. Okay, and if there is a rise of auspicious karma in me, then whatever try you do, you will not be successful, because my punya karma is there. Okay, so nobody can be helpful to anybody, and nobody can be harmful to anybody. That is the fact. But these peripatetic devas, they do this kind of activities, and there are past connections that we don't deny. Okay, there are past connections, only those people get affected, but that doesn't mean that you should come under the influence of them. Okay, so what are the characteristics of these peripatetic devas and denial of their worship? Why do people worship for them? Because they feel something bad will happen to them in this life. So worrying about this life, they pray to this kind of gods. Okay. Then there are many others also. All the names have been mentioned, and many Jains also believe in those. Uh, there is a church in Bandra. I don't remember the exact name. Every Sunday, 20-30,000 people go there to pray. Huh?
Mount Mary.
Mount Mary, maybe, I don't know. So many Jains also go there, because if you go there and wish something, it gets fulfilled. That is the idea. Okay. So these things happen. Nowadays, everyone believes in miracles, everyone believes in miracles. So these kind of things are very popular, but we should not get into it. The whole logic is explained here. Okay. So we should understand this very nicely. Now, these characteristics of peripatetic devas and denial of their worship. Gia, you read.
Yes, sir. So many people.
Yeah.
So before that, I had a question.
Yes.
I wanted to ask, would entering other places of worship also cause inauspicious karma, like without worshipping the gods?
Yeah. So, what is your purpose to go there? Like, I had been going to a Sadhviji's Derasar for last 5-6 months, okay, to teach them. So I never went and bore to them that you are the true sadhus and like that, So what is the purpose? Now, supposing someone in your family gets married to a non-Jain family, right? Now they have organized a Satyanarayan Katha at their home. You have to go or not? Right? So you go there. But that doesn't make you a sinner, because your belief doesn't change. But you have to maintain the protocol, right? You have to maintain the relationship. So you go there. But you don't pray it with the same purpose that they are doing. They are doing it because something good will happen to them. And you are just going to maintain the relationship, right? Because it was a close cousin of yours, maybe, right? So that doesn't make any difference. Everything depends on what you believe. Even if you are not going anywhere, you are going to a Digambar Jain temple, and still if you are going with a purpose that if I go and pray, I will get this, then you are again a non-Jain, right? So it doesn't matter where you go, what you go. It matters is what is your belief. Okay. So you have to take call in this manner. Simply going doesn't make you a wrong believer. Okay. But as I said, You should
My
not
mom
develop,
is a Hindu, so I have to sometimes go just,
yeah,
but I
you
don't
don't
pray, I
have
just
to
go.
develop a feeling of hatred to them. You
Yeah,
should be in
right,
equanimity. They
right.
are also gods. They don't know they are gods, but they are gods, right?
Mm.
So you have to have that approach with them when you interact with them. But you know your boundaries, where your boundaries are, and you should not cross your boundaries, right? That's the only thing.
Yes, sir.
Good question. Okay, you start reading.
So,
Himalaya.
Yeah,
so
Imani.
may I just add to that? So, even for instance, one of my cousins, he's Jain, but he keeps, Ganpati, and he calls us. So then I have another, my kaki, who's like a devout Jain, and her sisters have taken Diksha and all of that. So I always ask her that, when you come for this, what do you say? Like in your mind, do you like say the same, Ganpati thing? So she said that no, what I say is ke, and I'm saying it in Gujarati, મારા ભગવાનમાં જે ગુણ તારામાં છે, મારા ભગવાનના જે ગુણ તમારામાં છે, એને હું નમન કરું છું. She just says that.
So she is aware. She is aware.
Yeah.
Right. But even if you don't say that, what difference does it make? Right.
Mm.
So this is, see, even in these names have come later on. Earlier it was only one religion, okay? Bhagwan Mahavir, and we were all one. But then with the passage of time, the divisions kept on happening. In the Jains, I'm talking about Jains, I'm not talking about non-Jains now, right? Even in Jains, there are many divisions and subdivisions. So we have found out a very practical way, the one who is connecting to the pure soul is true religion. Okay, whatever name you want to give, you give. But if the connection, all the preachings leads to the connection to the pure soul, then it is all correct. And if the pure soul is missing, then everything is wrong. Okay, so this should be the benchmark of identifying true and false. Okay, nothing else. As I said, ki Gautam Gandhar, he was a Vedant, but he went on to become a chief preceptor. So things change very fast. So our criteria should be based not on any place, sect, or tradition. It should be based on the preachings, the Jinvani, what he preaches us. If he preaches us to connect ourselves, then we should follow. Okay, that's all.
So
Yes.
Okay.
what about Yaksh, Yakshini? Are they deities or not?
Yeah, they are deities. Yaksh,
That is.
Yakshini, then Kshetrapal, these are all deities, but they are not the true deities, right? So we should not worship them as true deities, but like we should not have a feeling of hatred with them, right? So they are also God. Maybe they are not knowing the true path right now, but someday they will also get a transformation, and they will also follow these preachings. Okay. So as I said, it doesn't matter. Like what matters is your belief. Okay. So if you are believing in these preachings, if you are believing in the nature of 7 fundamentals, if you are believing that 7 fundamentals leads to right belief, then you are on the correct path. Okay. So as I said, you have to strike a balance. As I said, we are all interconnected. So sometimes you have to go to some places, for formalities, to maintain the relationship, to maintain the protocol. So you should be aware of the boundaries that are there, and you can very well remain in that boundary and also maintain the relationship. That's an art that you have to develop to maintain that relationship. Okay, and that you always find out when the purpose is there, then everything falls in places. Okay, you have never talked in that manner, but when the right time comes, you talk in that manner, and you are always surprised that how can I talk like that? I have never talked like that. but things happen. It's all depends on your belief system. Okay. If you have a strong belief, strong faith, then nobody can alter that belief, your inner belief, into something else. Okay. So you should understand everything with logic. So once you have the logic in place, then nobody can motivate you to go into the wrong direction. So it is all on us, not on the other people. Okay. Any more questions?
Yeah, sir, we have this thing, क्या बोलते हैं, देवी देवता of our own sect. So there it becomes difficult. Of course, we do not pray non-gen gods, but Devi Devta, na, they are, we are supposed to pray. At that time, it becomes a little difficult as what to do.
So that is what I am telling. No, we have a student who is into a non-Jain family. She is a Jain, right? Now she has to cook potato and onion and everything, right? So what she would do? She would take a divorce? No. There is a very good story about Chelna Rani, you know.
Yeah. I don't exactly remember.
Shrenik was mesmerized by her beauty, and Shrenik wanted to marry her. And she found, and he found out that she is a strong devotee of Jainism. So what Shrenik said, you know, that I have a Jain temple in my house. I am a Jain. I am a pure Jain. I have a temple in my house. And Chelna was very impressed. A person who keeps temple in his house, that means he is a very strong follower of Jainism. So she got married. And when she came here, she realized that she has been cheated. Shrenik was a Buddhist, he was a Buddhist, and there was no temple in the place. So she realized that she has been cheated, but she was patient. She never went back to her home. She never got divorced, you know, and things changed. Shrenik became a Jain. Shaikh Samyak Drishti, he is going to be the first Tirthankar in the next 24 Tirthankars. So things change around. So as I said, internal purity is of more importance than the external behavior. Okay. So never mind. Just keep on studying, contemplating, and arriving at a decision. With those decisions, every equation in the outside world will change. So those family members also change, you know. So when the right time comes, everything happens. We have seen 2-3 examples, Gautam Gandhar's examples, now this Chilna Rani. So there are many examples like that. So these are very small things. Okay. So you have to deal it with very tactful way, right? So that you learn when you have the intention and the motivation to pursue the right religion. Okay.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Any other doubts? See, when we are discussing this, we should discuss it in the right sense. Okay. So I will tell you everything, and I've already told you about everything. Now, I think most of your doubts are clear. More doubts will be cleared by understanding this characteristics of peripatetic devas. How people fall into this this kind of false belief, you know.
Sir?
So continue. Yeah, Jia.
Yeah. Characteristics.
Oh, I had another question. So sometimes we have to go to a relative's house for dinner, and they eat ganmur, and we don't eat ganmur at home. So sometimes they'll ask my son, "Oh, ato khawai kai vanjo nathi," and I don't want to be the I don't want to stop them from feeding my son, but is there a way I can teach my son to say no by himself?
So you have two choices. Either you believe in the Aryant Bhagwan, what he has said in the preachings through this Jinwani, or you believe to your relatives. Okay, you have two choices.
Oh, yeah.
then the next step comes like your son, right? So you have to instill in him the sanskars of this Jainism, right? So if you make him understand from the beginning only, he will also take his call. And over a period of time, you start, cutting off those relationships. Because every time you go there, this thing will happen. And then you have to take a choice. Like, we don't go to any functions. Even in Jainism, like, we eat Shuddh Bhojan, Shuddh Bhojan, pure food. So we don't eat outside water, nothing. So we have stopped going to even our close relatives' marriages also. We have stopped going to any of the birthday party, this, that, uh, baby shower, then what you call something else, something. So we have stopped all this because uh, my purpose, I cannot make others happy by suffering myself, right? So we have to draw our lines, and we have stopped going, and they also stopped coming. So, okay, I'm okay with that. So it's your choice, like at what level you are ready to compromise, what are your priorities, So it's all like that. So again, coming back to the basic is your decision making power. Okay. The stronger you make the decision, all this outside clutter will automatically get removed. Okay. So you work on this direction and everything will fall in places. In between, that you have to strike a balance, as I said. So this is the call that you have to individually take. Okay.
So just to add what Roshni ji said over here,
Mm-hmm.
so I have 3 boys.
Okay.
My first child, ever since he was born, like you spoke about your son, he would just not eat onions. He would say, "Mane nati bhavta. I just don't want food with onions." Like he would, even if we made food, and before I kind of joined this class, we used to eat onion, garlic, all of this.
I was also eating every day.
And so, like in huge quantity, like we had a cook, if he made biryani, he would put 6 or 7 onions in one dish. So much. And then Vedant would say that I don't want to have this, I just don't like it. And my youngest son, on the other hand, he loves onions. Like if we go to a restaurant and even now that we've kind of stopped, so when that kind of salad comes with those onion rings, he'll start eating kacha onions. So, sir, I keep telling them that it's not the right thing to have. It's onion mabo jeev hoy and all of that. But the younger one just doesn't understand, and the elder one, understands, and the middle child is kind of changing. So I'm just wondering whether it makes sense to continuously drill this into their head, or whether I should just be saying that jare, it'll be the right time, they will give it up.
So you have to enroll them in a pathshala. Okay.
Oh.
And there is a shibir in Devlali every year in summer vacation. So when they go to the shibir, they make friends over there. They learn from them,
Right.
The environment is a very big factor in motivating them. You will tell one thing 100 times, they will not listen to you. But in Pathshala, if they learn it one day, they will come. People, we have seen students like kids coming their home and telling their mom that don't do this, don't do that. So this would be a right way to get them into this. As a mother, you will not be able to enforce strictly on them, but they will learn on their own. So you have to get into this kind of environment, right? You have to get into, your residence should be in that kind of area where you are taking them temples every day, So these are the changes that you have to make, In a city like Bombay, you will sell here and buy here. It's not a very big deal, right? But then there are other priorities in life. So you have to prioritize according to your situations, So this challenges will go on. There is not going to be end. The best part would be your understanding itself will be the final call that you will be taking. Okay. So work on reading, contemplating, and coming at a decision, and everything will fall in places. Now for 30, 40 years, you have been doing other things. Okay. Now immediately you want to transform, So sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't happen, sometimes it will take time, but never mind. At the end of the day, everything will fall in places. Just be patient, deal it tactfully. Again, it's an art, as I said, it's an art. Being a female, and then there are other things involved in the relationship, So there are many things. So we cannot take any abstract call as such, कि "Oh, nahi aj karu." No, this will not work. You have to be with them, and gradually they will get into this kind of activities, pathshalas and all, and they will learn. They learn very fast. The kids learns very fast, and their decision at this level, then they carry this decision rest of their life. We have seen people like that. Coming to me, my life, up to 30 years, I was having kanda batata every day. So I was born in a Jain family, Sthanakvasi, but I never had exposure to any kind of this preachings. So I was a non-Jain in that sense, right? I used to go to a non-veg restaurant also, eat vegetarian food, but non-veg also. So then gradually, as I got into this kind of studies, I realized, and I stopped going to non-veg, then I stopped going to restaurant, then so it gradually it happens, So, but whatever would be the situation, when the transformation happens, it happens very fast. So we should not lose hope. We should be very patient and deal it tactfully. Okay. Yeah, continue.
Sir, I just want to know if there is some science student here. Under the microscope, can we see these
Yeah, it's
minute?
in. Yes, yes,
So that
yes,
is
yes,
what
yes.
I'm trying to say,
So
Himali.
I know somebody in Kolkata. There is a science museum, and there is a microscope over there, and they through that microscope they uh, they
Show these
make, yeah,
organisms.
see this through microscope. They can see that there are many moving creatures in potato and onion and all. So
So that is the best
one
way
of my
to.
friend, he was not a
It's
Jain.
less in onion, but it's more in potato. Onion, there are not many microorganisms.
Okay,
More because of the sattvic or tamasic taste. But potato
right.
definitely has a lot of them. Lot of them.
Okay. So he was not a Jain, but he went to that museum and he saw through microscope, and he stopped eating it. He was not a Jain. So, if you explore, you get many things into it. So this is all Charnan Yoga, and Charnan Yoga is best left to individuality. You cannot enforce on anybody. It's your individual choice, and people learn it. Forget about your past. Your present is in your hand, and your future is very bright. Okay. So these are very small issues when you look at the kind of benefit that we are getting right now, getting into this kind of study, understanding this kind of studies. Our life is on a very high. So good that you asked these questions. But as I said, again, ultimately, it will boil down to your decision making power. Okay. The faster you are able to take decisions, the faster the outside world will change. Okay. So put your all energy into studying, contemplating, and decision making. That's all. Because understanding gives you that strength to renounce such certain things, So understanding is very important. Yeah, Jia, you can continue now.
Yes, sir. Characteristics of peripatetic devas and denial of their worship. Many people adore false deities, gods and goddesses with different purposes of ending the misery and obtaining happiness, such as killing of foes, etc., eradicating diseases, etc., obtaining wealth, and sun, etc., related to this present life, Paryay only. They worship Hanuman, goddesses Ganga, Sanji, Chaut, Sheetal, Dahari, etc., ghost, goblin, ancestors, peripatetic celestial beings, sun, moon, Saturn, stellar gods, Peer, a Mohammedan saint, Paigambara, prophet, cow, horse, and other animals, fire, water, and weapons. What to describe more, they worship even the pieces of stone for fulfillment of the aforesaid purposes. So, this type of adoration of false deities is done only due to wrong belief, because, firstly, many of those whose adoration is done are only imaginary gods, deities. How would, therefore, their adoration be purposeful? And many amongst them are the peripatetic gods, Vyantar Devas. They are not capable of doing good or bad to others. If they would be capable of doing good or bad, then they would only become the doers of good or bad, but nothing is seen happening by their acts. They cannot give wealth by becoming cheerful, nor can they do harm to anyone by becoming envious. Here, someone says, Dadi, class.
Can you
Here,
make
someone.
it a bit bolder, the writings? There are space both sides. Yeah, thank you.
Uh, it's too zoomed in. Yeah. Here, someone says the peripatetic devas, are seen causing pain and misery, and if respected, they refrain from causing pain. Answer: when the misbeliever, suffers from the rise of inauspicious karmas, then the Vyantas, too, are found having sportive mood of this type only, due to which they indulge in sportive actions, and because of their such acts, the person becomes miserable. And if out of fun they utter something, and this fellow does not act accordingly, then they stop teasing him and finding him weak, continue making fun. If he has a rise of punya, auspicious karmas, then they cannot do anything. It is also seen that some persons do not worship them and rather criticize them, or the Vyantas, also have aversion with him, but they cannot harm him. They are also found saying that the particular person does not pay regard to us, still we cannot do anything. Therefore, the peripatetic devas are not capable of doing anything. Rather, unhappiness is caused due to his own punya pap, karmas only. On the contrary, by regarding and worshipping them, miseries are intensified, no purpose is accomplished. Further, it should be known that whatever glory and miracles are found associated with imaginary deities, these are all creations of peripatetic devas. Someone was his devotee in the previous birth. After death, he became a Vyantar. In that state, owing to some reason, such conjecture developed, due to which Vyantar, creates some miracle for inducing people to worship that dev or false deity. The worldly, ignorant people indulge in his worship by seeing some miracle. As we listen and see the miracles associated with jinn pratimas, but these are not the acts of jinn. Rather, these are created by some Jain Vyantas. Similarly, whatever miracle is found associated with false deities is the creation of their devotees, Vyantas, etc. Further, in the other sects, it is stated that the god helped the devotees and gave darshan directly by appearing before them. But most of these statements are imaginary. Many such acts are performed by their devotee Vyantar Devs, which are stated to have been performed by God. If these acts are done by God, then the God is omniscient, is capable in all respects. Why would he allow the devotees to suffer from miseries? Even today, we see that the low caste people inflict afflictions to devotees, destroy religion, and miseries. Can someone else see? Sorry, there's disturbance in the background.
Even today, we see that the low caste people inflict afflictions to devotees, destroy religion, and break idols. If God is unaware of these acts, then he no longer remains an omniscient. Even after knowing, if he does not help the devotee, then the kindness towards devotees is lost. and is proved powerless. And if he remains only a witness, then the earlier statement that he helped devotees in the past is false, because his tendency is equanimous. Okay. Further, if you will say the devotion is not of high order, but in any case the devotee is better than the low caste person, and after all his own idol was installed at least, he should have not allowed his destruction. And if the low caste wicked people become powerful, so this is an act of God or not? It is. If it is an act of God, then what happened to his kind-heartedness toward devotees? Because he makes the calumniators happy and produces trouble creators for the devotees. And if it is not an act of God, then the God is proved to be powerless. Therefore, it is not the act of God. Some devotee Vyantar shows only the miracle you should ascertain like this only. So you see the peripatetic devas, the Vyantar, they are kind of, mischievous kids, they keep on playing pranks, and if you fall in their trap, they tease you more. Okay. And if you don't listen to them, if you don't believe in them, then they do nothing. Okay. So it is like that. The one who gets fearful, they start uh, leading them, or harming them, just creating fear in them. But if you are very rigid, if you are very firm in your conviction, then they are not able to do. Okay. Because the basic principle that one substance cannot do anything of the other, that you should keep in mind. Okay. If he says that no, if you don't do this, I will do this. I'll give you a true example. There was one Jain scholar, very learned scholar. Okay. And his grandson, maybe 2-3 months only, 2-3 months. Okay. And that peripatetic devas, he came, he picked that small kid, went up at a great height and throw that kid, and that kid fall on the ground and he died. Okay. And that scholar, you know what he said? That just because his age was getting over, you became an instrumental cause. If you are really a doer, do harm me. I'm standing here. And he could not do anything. So these peripatetic devs do exist, and they do such mischievous acts, but only to them whom they have a past connection pending account with them. So like right now in this place, in wherever you are sitting, there are infinite peripatetic devs around in the atmosphere. There are infinite peripatetic devs. But if there is a rise of inauspicious karma of yours, they will be an instrumental cause in harming you. But if there is not a rise of inauspicious karma, if there is a rise of auspicious karma, they will not be able to do anything. So at the end of the day, it all depends on our past auspicious and inauspicious karma. Okay. And not with any external force. Okay. So
So
this
I had
is
a
very,
question.
yeah.
So where are the peripatetic devas? Like in which gati exactly?
They are in celestial, they are celestial beings. There are 4 kinds of celestial beings. Okay. Vyantar, then the best one is the Vaimanik Devs. Okay. Then 3 are lower category: Bhavanvasi, Vyantar, and Jyotisi. Okay. So these 3 are lower categories, and they indulge in this kind of activities. They are also pure soul. For some reason, they have bounded such karmas here, maybe in the past life. And as a fallout of them, when the fruition is there of those karmas, they act in such manner. They enter in somebody else's bodies, then harm them, inflict pain on them. Many things have happened and still happening. These are all true. But the solution is not in praying them, obeying them, nothing like that. You have to be firm in your decision. right? Whatever will happen in your life, it's because of your past auspicious and inauspicious karma. Okay. So, but certain things happen, and so people nowadays believe in miracles. So they believe, few years ago, maybe 15 years ago, there was this Ganpati
Drinking milk.
drinking milk. So everywhere it started happening. So that was again an act of Vyantar Dev. They try to create this kind of pranks, so people pray to them. They want attention. Just as a small kid, you just put an example of small kid, how they want attention. Everyone should look at them. So they always, sometimes they also act. They play pranks like that. Sometimes they start laughing, then sometimes they start crying. All these activities, peripatetic devas also happen with them. And the bottom line is they are not the doer of good or bad to anybody. They don't have the power, simply. Okay. It is just that those who have got past connection, they come and harm them. And if you are a staunch believer of Jainism and a staunch follower of preachings of Jainism, Jinvani, if you are a Swadhyay, then you will be able to navigate those situations. Because you know that whatever he says, that will not happen. Okay. So these kind of things have happened. And nowadays there is chamatkar ko namaskar. So everyone falls prey to this kind of activities. And but these are all wrong beliefs. It's all wrong deities. Okay. False deities. So we should not get into that kind of trap. These are all trap. Once you get into the trap, they keep on harming you, harming you, harming you. Just nowadays, if you read in the newspaper, um, some cyber frauds happening. They first lure you to join this group, and they say you invest this, and then they keep on giving you different account numbers, and you keep on transferring money, and then you realize that, oh, I have been cheated. So these kind of things are happening everywhere. People are also very greedy, so they want immediate success. So they fall prey to all these kind of activities. But the thing is that uh, again, it depends on your decision, how good you are at making decisions. So if you have analyzed the scriptures and understood the scriptures very well, you will not fall into any of these traps. Okay. So they create all these kind of situations, and if they are really doer, then they should help those who are in distress, but they doesn't help those who are in distress. So they are not the true God in the first place. Okay. And those devotees, even sometimes it's a coincidence that something good happens to some people, and they believe this has happened because of I went to there. But it's not the case. It's just a coincidence that has happened. But again, if the delusion is of very high level, you will fall prey to this kind of activities. Okay. If the delusion is mild, you will not fall prey to this kind of activities. And by reading the scriptures, the delusion gets milder and milder and milder as you go along. And one time will come that delusion will completely go away, and you will manifest right belief. That is where your path of liberation will begin. Until and then, you have to be very careful. Just keep on reading the scriptures, understanding it, and see that wherever they say that this is a miracle, it's not a miracle. Okay. It's just a natural course of action that has happened voluntarily, and nobody has done anything. Okay. It's just a coincidence. Still, we will carry on with the activities of Vyantars. Continue, Hemali, you. Someone asked here.
Someone asks here, some Vyantar narrates his power, tells the imperceivable things, narrates his inferiority by telling his dirty place of habitation, does not reply to our questions, makes confusing statements, causes others to act contrarily, inflicts misery, etc. How these astonishing things happen? Answer. In different Vyantas, comparatively, more and less power is found. But those who show their inferiority by telling about their dirty place of habitation, etc., do so out of fun. The Vyantas continue indulging in sportive actions like children. As a child, for the sake of making fun, shows himself inferior, teases and abuses others, cries loudly, and afterwards starts laughing. Similarly, the Vyantas also indulge in all such actions. If they are inhabitants of dirty places, then when they come into good, clean places, who brings them there? If they come themselves, they have such power, why do they live in dirty places? Therefore, their residence, where they take birth, which is under and above this earth, is lovely and attractive. For the sake of fun, they utter whatever they like. If they have any sufferings, then how do they start laughing immediately after weeping? It is true that the mantras, incarnations, have unlimited and unimaginable power.
Incantations.
Incantations, sorry. It is true that the mantras, incantations, have unlimited and unimaginable power. Some true mantra possess such instrumental cause and effect relationship that due to it, the Vyantar is not able to move from a place and also becomes somewhat miserable. If some powerful mantra checks him, then he remains stationary or remains stuck up of his own accord. So all this is the power of mantra, but burning, etc., is not possible. The knower of mantras, incantor, says that he has burnt the Vyantar, but the Vyantar appears again, because it is not possible to burn the Vaikrik transformable body. The range of clairvoyance knowledge found in some of the Vyanta, peripatetic Dev, is of knowing the things of less area and time, and in someone it is more. There, if they have desire to reply and have knowledge of the question asked, then they reply to our question related with unknown objects. If they possess less knowledge, then they reply after asking from the Vyantar possessing more knowledge.
Other Vyantars.
Other Vyantar possessing more knowledge. It should be known that if they possess less knowledge and have no desire to reply, then they do not reply to our question. After taking birth, the Vyantars possessing less clairvoyance knowledge can know about the events of their previous life for some period only. Then, afterwards, only the remembrance of those events remain. Therefore, if the desire arises, then they indulge in various activities and tell about the previous life. But when someone asks something different, then their clairvoyance knowledge being limited, how can then they tell without knowing? The question that they cannot reply and have no desire to reply. They do not reply either due to pride or sportive instinct, or sometimes tell lies. The Devs, celestial beings, possess such power that they can change or transform their own as well as other Jeev's body and material things according to their desires. Therefore, they transform themselves into different shapes and sizes, etc., and indulge in various peculiar activities. They create diseases, etc., in other Jeev's bodies. It should be remembered that they can turn or transform their own body and other material things to the extent of their power. Therefore, they do not possess the power of doing all kinds of acts. They can change or turn the body, etc., of other Jeevs only according to the rise of punya pap karma of that Jeev. If that Jiva is having the rise of Punya, auspicious karma, then the Vyanta Devs cannot make his body diseased, etc. And if he is having the rise of Pap, inauspicious karma, then the Vyanta Dev cannot do his desired work. Thus, one should know the power of Vyanta Devs, etc. Someone may ask here, what is wrong in believing and worshipping those who possess so much power? Answer. When one is having the rise of Pap karma, the Vyantas, etc., cannot cause or bestow happiness. And when there is a rise of Punya karma, they cannot cause misery. Moreover, by worshipping them, no bondage of auspicious karma takes place. On the other hand, due to increase in attachment, passion, etc., only the bondage of inauspicious karma is caused. Hence, paying regard and worshipping them is not beneficial. Rather, it is harmful. And the Vyanta's motive in inducing others to believe and worship them is only to make fun, and no other specific purpose is there. The one who believes and worships them with him, only they continue making fun. Those who do not believe and worship them, to them, they do not say anything. If at all they have any purpose, then they should cause more pain and misery to those who do not believe and worship them. But those who have firm determination of not believing and worshipping them, to them, they are not seen telling anything. And the purpose would lie only if they have the suffering of hunger, etc. But such sufferings are not found in them. If such suffering be there, why do they not accept sweets, oblation, when they are offered to them? And why do they encourage the followers to serve food, etc., to others only? So they have simply the objective of fun. If anyone becomes a party to their activity of fun, etc., then he would become miserable and feel inferiority. Hence, it is not worthwhile to believe and worship them.
Stop. So you see, the Ventar are just like kids, Their only purpose is to make fun. They don't have any other purpose. They are not hungry. They don't want to eat food, nothing. Because they are celestial beings, lower category of celestial being, and their body is Vaikrik. So Vaikrik body never gets burnt, So like someone is in problem, then there are specialists of this kind of things, and they say that I will do this and that, and then they will say, you give me so much money, I will burn that Vyantar, and then he will say, I will burn that Vyantar. But the burning of the Vyantar doesn't happen because they are celestial being. They have got a Vaikrik body, transformer body, so that never gets burned. Okay. So there are a lot of cheating going on in the name of this, Vyantars and peripatic devas, and there are some psychological problems also, So nowadays the mental problems are increasing, so people do fall prey to such kind of psychological problems also, and then they start believing that someone has done on something on this, so she's behaving like this, all this talks goes on and it's everywhere there, but there is nothing to believe in that. Genuinely there are some psychological problems with somebody, and the best way to sort out these psychological problems is you again do study of Jinvani. Okay, by engaging in Jinvani studies, your all the problems will get solved. How it will get solved? When you study Jinvani, automatically there is a auspicious karma that you are binding. Okay, so when you are indulging in auspicious activity, automatically many things simultaneously happens. Your uh, your demerit karmas get reduced, your merit karmas get increased, and then there are conversions happening. Demerits get converted into merits. Okay, and then there is karmas coming before maturity. So these are the 4 stages called Utkarshan, Apkarshan, Sankraman and Udirna. This is the Hindi words. In English, Utkarshan is increasing, Upkarshan is decreasing, Sankraman is conversion, and Udirna is coming into maturity before time. Okay. So these four things always keep happening. Now we are studying here, right? So simultaneously many changes are happening in our karmas. Okay. The karmas that we have accumulated in the past, they undergo changes when we manifest this kind of studies, when we get indulge in auspicious activities. So they keep on changing, you know. So automatically changes are happening. Okay. Only it sometimes it takes some time. You have to be patient. You have to keep on believing it. Okay. But never fall prey to those kind of miracles, you know. So they are not the miracles in the first sense, but as I said, there are some Vyantardevs who are powerful, they execute those powers on whom they have a past connection. If you don't have a past connection, he will not be able to harm you in any way. Okay. So basically, this paragraph, the last paragraph was very good. I'm repeating it again. What is wrong in believing and worshipping those who possesses so much power? Okay. So they do have clairvoyance knowledge also. Then they have certain kinds of powers also, and they have been seen making those powers work for them also. They try to create a feeling of fear among people also. All things are true. But for whom? Only those who have a past connections with them, right? It's not affecting every now and then. If you put it in percentage wise, the kind of populations that we have in India, if only our country you consider, it is less than 0.000001. Okay. How many people do get affected by Vyantars? 1 in a 10 lakh, something like that. Okay. Those ratio is very nominal, and that also because of past connections. Okay. So this the exact nature of the Vyantars, what they can do, what they cannot do, is explained in this paragraph. I'm reading it again. When one is having the rise of pap karma, okay, our pap karma, the Vyantars etc. cannot cause or bestow happiness. They cannot help you. If there is a rise of pap karma in you, the Vyantars cannot bestow happiness or cannot make any changes in your problems. And when there is a rise of punya karma in you, they cannot cause misery. Moreover, by worshipping them, no bondage of auspicious karma takes place. On the other hand, due to increase in attachment passion, only the bondage of inauspicious karma is caused. Hence, paying regard and worshipping them is not beneficial. Rather, it is harmful. And the Vyantar's motive in inducing others to believe, okay? And the Vyantar's motive in inducing others to believe and worship them is only to make fun, okay? They just want attention. They just want to make fun. They just want to scare you, okay? If you fall prey to it, they will do more. If you don't pay heed to them or their activity, they will stop. Okay. No other specific purpose is there. Only fun, fun, fun. So why they are doing fun to such people? Again, past connection. Why they are not doing to you and me? Why? Because we don't have past connections. Simply. If tomorrow I have past connection, he will come and try to harm me. But if I am very firm in my belief, then I will not fall prey to his demands. Okay. So it's
I
all.
have not experienced anything us demanding anything from me. How does that even happen?
But it happens to some persons. You must you ask your mother, they will tell you that certain things. Earlier times they were coming more. Now it's lessening. As we are advancing to in the fifth era, So the Vyantars are coming less. Earlier, it was very prominent, you know.
So, but like for instance, after I got married, we went to somebody's house. They said, "Ki che cheda chutta karwa mate, we have to go there." And he started kind of beating himself up. But I thought that was a joke. I mean, I couldn't believe that.
So some are genuine and some are just doing to make you impressed. Yeah.
And why would he take money? He took like.
So it's their business, you know.
Yeah.
So now we have Vastu Shastra experts, you know. What they do? They also do play such tricks with you. They will say this, you do these, otherwise this will happen, that will happen. They just trap you. And once you fall into that trap, they keep on doing it. I'll give you a very good, I'll relate to you a very good joke. There was a person who was very poor. He has no money. He was miserable. He was passing through the road. And there was a astrologer sitting on the road. And apna bhavishya change karo, this and that he was talking, you know. So this fellow was very miserable. So he went to him and he showed his hand. And he saw that, oh, you have a Rahu Graha, Ketu Graha, you have Shani, this, that. So that person become fearful. So what should I do? You pay me 200 rupees, I will fix it. So then that fellow said, I don't have 200 rupees. But said, this is very heavy, the grahs are very heavy. You will, your all, whatever you work for, it will not get successful, these, that. Okay, anyway, you give me 100 rupees. So then that fellow said, I don't have 100 also. So then that fellow said, okay, I will fix it for you 50 rupees, not less than that. So then fellow said, I don't have 50 rupees also. How much you have? Then that fellow said, I don't have any money. Well, then you go. They just harm only those people who have got money. They don't harm those who don't have money. So this was a joke, you know. So it's like that only. Once you fall into that trap, they keep you uh, just milking out money only money pinning. So same is with Vastu Shastra and all. So never get into all those things. These are very false kinds of things. You just study and do firm decisions. That's all. Nothing will come. Generally speaking, those who are a Swadhyayi, they don't fall prey to this kind of activities. But those who don't study, they fall prey to this kind of activities.
So, but astrology is also one of the sciences, no? And in fact, when you become a monk, you study astrology, they say.
No. There are scriptures on astrology written by monks, Jain monks, true monks. But the purpose of studying astrology was to influence the devotees and make them Jain. There was no other purpose. So they read, how I can impress you? By telling your past, by telling your future, you know. Then only you will go, oh, this is a very good saint. So let's go. Then they will preach them how to get into passionlessness. So the objective was to spread the religion of Jainism. That was only the purpose. There was never a purpose to earn livelihood on this, because all those scriptures that has been written, they were all true monks, possessionless monks. They never kept any possessions. Okay. So astrology as a science is true, but what difference does it make? As a soul, you are a knower, you are not a doer, right? So if you are knowing that this will happen or this will not happen, what difference does it make? As a soul, it doesn't make any difference. And as a soul, if you have studied scriptures very seriously, you will, on the contrary, challenge that whatever bad karma has to come. I am sitting here. You cannot harm me because I am a soul. I am not this body. You may inflict diseases on this body, but I am not a body, right? So nobody gets into those kind of miracles, but astrology as a science is true, but again, they cannot change anybody's destiny. Okay. Whatever has to happen, We have read this Krambat Paryay. Okay. All things are very, very structured and it's happening sequentially only. And that sequence cannot be changed anytime. Okay. So this is the truth. Now, if you don't adhere to this truth and seek immediate gratification, then if you fall prey to those miracles, then nobody can help you, right? But the fact is, astrology has no place in Jainism, in the sense that whatever has to happen happens, always happens, right? So by knowing it or by not knowing it, nothing changes, as we have shown in the example of Dwarka. It was said that Dwarka will be burned to ashes after 12 years and these people will be the instrumental cause, and many tried to change that instrumental cause, but nothing changed, and it happened the way it was supposed to happen, right? So all this tells us that we should not get into those kind of belief.
Can I ask you something
Yes,
about,
yes.
yeah, now what about the Patrika? There is such a big thing in India as soon as they're born, by the time the date, time when they're born, they make Patrika and then they try to look at it for
So
even for the
traditionally
marriage.
that was what Hindus followed, okay?
Uh-huh.
And Jains also learned from them and followed. But how many people are seriously studying scriptures? Very few, right? So those, they don't fall into this, okay? Only those who are not aware of these scriptures and the principles, they fall into this kind of things and they believe in these kind of things. So these are all the practices that we should not do, okay? And the Venter's motive that we saw to make fun, those who do not believe and worship them, to them they do not say anything. If you believe in them, if you get into their influences, then only they are able to harm you. But if you don't do anything, they don't say anything. If at all they have any purpose, then they should cause more pain and misery to those who do not believe and worship them. But those who have firm determination, now this is very important, firm determination of not believing and worshipping them, to them they are not seen telling anything. And the purpose would lie only if they have the suffering of hunger, etc. But such suffering is not found in them. They are never hungry. If such suffering be there, then why do they do not accept sweets, oblation, which are offered to them? And why do they encourage the followers to serve food to others only, not to them? Because they don't eat. They are celestial beings, right? So they have simply the objective of fun. If anyone becomes a party to their activity of fun, etc., then he would become miserable and feel inferiority. Hence, it is not worthwhile to believe and worship them. Okay. So this is the final saying. This paragraph you should read again and again. And if any time there is a case happening in your family or somewhere, then you should tell them this paragraph, that they are not simply, if you don't believe in them, they will not harm you. Okay. Furthermore, someone asked that the Vyantar says so, offer Pinddan, oblation of cook rice to the mains in Gaya. Gaya is very famous, for, Pitru and all past, our forefathers. You go and pay there, so they will remain in peace. It's all bullshit. Nothing happens. Okay. Then we shall get released and will never come again. Okay. What is all this? So, we used to do this Nived and all. Kuldevi, Nived, and then some Pitru, all these things we were also doing. But when I got into this kind of studies and understood everything, we stopped everything. And one of our family was a staunch believer of all these things. He says that one who stops praising or paying respect to their Pitrus, elders, they get all kind of difficulties. They become poor, very poor. Their business gets these, that. They were telling us. But we never believed and nothing happened. And we prospered on the contrary. So these are all, these are all Vyantars, who say these kind of things. So their objective is to make people attentive to them, believe in them, worship them is their purpose. And for that reason, they try all these kind of activities. Those who are of weaker mind, they fall prey to this. Those who are of stronger mind, they don't fall prey to this kind of activities. Okay. So now this Gaya, people offer Pindadan, oblation of cook rice to the mains in Gaya. Then we shall get released and will never come again. You release me. I am wandering here and there. They say these kind of things. One thing is there, that if you encounter such kind of problems, you just ask, you just tell him that I am a follower of Parshvanath Swami. Are you a follower of Parshvanath Swami? Then they will immediately go away. Because all these Vyantars are followers of Parshvanath Swami. So many a times this has happened, and people say them that we are follower of Parshvanath Swami, then they don't harm you. That's what somebody related to me the other day about this. So these Vyantars are also Jains. Vyantars are also Jains. Because of their past impression, they try to help Jain families or harm Jain families whom they have a past connections. So these kind of activities they do. Now about the Pinddan. Read the answer. Who is there?
So,
Yeah.
I've made a movie on this Pindadan
Acha.
for the Bihar government. It's a very short one.
Okay. You share in the group.
I'll do that, sir.
For Times of India?
No, sir, for the Bihar government.
Bihar government. Okay.
Yeah, it's a 6-minute long movie.
Okay.
But yeah, I've done the research and
So you have gone there and seen those things, right?
yeah.
Okay. You have narrated what's happening over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just before the elections, they wanted somebody to put together a few movies on Bihar.
So you are now working independently?
No,
Freelancing?
no, but I did that as a freelancer, just through some contact.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I'll share the movie. But people go in huge numbers. It's
I know.
crazy. And quite a few Jains also come, sir. Foreigners come. Foreigners.
We were believing. We were believing.
Oh, okay.
So in the past, it was all happening. So as I said, ignorance is the root cause of everything.
Yeah.
So as you become aware with reading more scriptures, you will not fall to these things.
Yeah.
Maltiji, you read.
Yes, sir. Further, someone asks the Vyantars, say so. Offer Pinddan, oblation of cook rice to the mains in Gaya, etc. Then we shall get released and will never come again. What is all this? Answer. The Jeev normally carry the impressions and experiences of their previous birth to the next birth. The Vyantars also, by remembrance, etc., possess the specific impressions of their previous birth. Therefore, because the Vyantars might be having in their previous birth the conjecture that by doing Pinddan, etc., in Gaya, etc., one gets better rebirth. That is why they induce people to do such acts. If the Muslims, etc., become Vyantars after death, they do not say so. Rather, they narrate their experiences, and impressions of the past life only. Hence, if the state of mind of all Vyantars be of uniform type, then all will pray in the same manner. But it is not so. Therefore, one should know the real characteristics of the Vyantars, etc. Further, sun, moon, planets, etc. are the stellar kinds of celestial beings, Jyotish Devs. Some people worship them. That also is a fallacy. Some worship sun, etc. by believing it as the part of God. There in the sun lies the only speciality of excessive light. However, gems like diamonds, etc., also possess light. No other speciality seems to be there in the sun for treating it to be part of God. And people worship moon, etc., for the sake of acquiring wealth, etc. But if wealth could be obtained by worshipping them, then all the paupers should worship. Therefore, this is a false notion. And some people worship them with a view of astrology during the advent of bad planets, etc., and give donations, etc., for the same purpose. As the deers, etc., make movement of their own, and they are treated to be the indicator of pre-intimation of likely future happiness and sorrow, respectively, on their crossing from right and left sides. But they are not at all capable of giving pleasure and pain. Similarly, the planets, etc., make movement of their own and are treated as pre-indicators of the knowledge of likely future pleasure or pain on rise of appropriate association of karmas in jeeves, but they, the planets, are not at all capable of giving pleasure or pain. Some people who worship them do not get the desired objective fulfilled, and some others who do not worship them get their desired objective fulfilled. Therefore, worshipping them is not worthwhile and is a fallacy. Here, someone says giving donations is a pious act, therefore, it is good. Answer: donating with the objective of religion is a pious act, punya. But in the aforesaid causes, donation and worship takes place due to fear of misery and greed of pleasures. Hence, it is assuredly wise, pap. Likewise, in many ways, they worship the Jyotish Devs, stellar kinds of celestial gods, which too is a fallacy. Further, goddesses, devis, and dharis, etc., are found there. Further, goddesses, devis, and dharis, etc., are found there. Many of them are Vyantaris, peripatetic goddesses, and Jyotishinis, stellar goddesses. People worship them with contrary belief of their characteristics. Several of them are imaginary goddesses, yet people worship them on the basis of their imaginary characteristics. Thus, worshipping Ventar gods, goddesses, etc., is forbidden.
So you see, so this was all about Vyantar was over. Now the next part is about the Pinddan. So again, the Vyantars have past impressions. Now these past impressions are the sanskar, sanskar. So they carry to the next birth. The jiva normally carries the impressions. Impressions means sanskar and experiences of their previous birth to the next birth. Okay. The Vyantars also by remembrance, etc., because they have some Vyantars have clairvoyance knowledge and possesses the specific impressions of their previous birth. Therefore, because the Vyantars might be having in their previous birth the conjecture that by doing Pinddan in Gaya, one gets better rebirth. That is why they induce people to do such acts. Because they feel that by giving Pinddan, etc., in Gaya, one gets better rebirth. Okay. It is their understanding. It is the understanding of the Vyantars. That is why they induce people to do such acts. Okay. So what you will do? You will do according to your belief. So these Vyantars believe that by giving Pinddan in Gaya, people do get better birth. So they recommend that to others also. Their followers. Okay. If the Muslims, etc., become Vyantars after death, they do not say so. Rather, they narrate their experiences and impressions of the past life only. So those who are Hindu Vyantars, they will say, did you go to Gaya and give Pinddan? And those who are Muslim Vyantars, they will say some other thing. Okay. Hence, if the state of mind of all Vyantars be of uniform type, then all will pray in the same manner. But it is not so. Therefore, one should know the real characteristics of Vyantars, etc. Further, sun, moon, okay, they are the kind of stellars, kind of celestial beings. Okay, so four kinds of celestial beings. One is Vaimanik Dev. I don't know remember the English names. Jyotisi is stellar beings. Then we have Bhavanvasi. Bhavanvasi.
The ones who have homes. In
homes,
Sri
yeah, but there is a specific word for that in English. You can see in Chedala. Okay. So some people worship them. That also is a fallacy. Some worship sun. So sun, moon, all these are not gods. Okay. No other speciality seems to be there in the sun for treating it to be a part of God. And people worship moon, etc., for the sake of acquiring wealth. But if wealth could be obtained by worshipping them, all the paupers, the beggars, should worship. Therefore, this is a false notion. Okay. By praying to the moon, you will acquire wealth is a false notion. And some people worship them with the view of astrology during the advent of blood planets, etc., and give donations, etc., for the same purpose. As the deers, etc., make movement of their own, and they are treated to be the indicator of pre-intimation of likely future happiness and sorrow respectively on their crossing from right and left sides, but they are not at all capable of giving pleasure and pain. Okay. Similarly, we have if a cat crosses your path, then they say that something omen will happen, bad will happen, but it is not so. So don't fall prey to all these things. Okay. We have got very clear cut principles to understand, and how nature of things happens. We have got a very good understanding. So those who study deeply, nicely, they will not fall to these kind of activities. And those who don't study seriously, then they will get influenced by other people's advice. But they are not at all capable of giving pleasures and pain. Similarly, the planets, etc., make movement of their own and are treated as pre-indicators of the knowledge of likely future pleasure or pain on rise of appropriate association of karmas in jivas. But the planets, are not at all capable of giving pleasure or pain. Okay. Some people who worship them do not get desired objective fulfilled, and some others who do not worship them get their desired objective fulfilled. Therefore, worshipping them is not worthwhile and is a fallacy. So what we do, what is the English word for Andhashraddha? There is a specific word.
Superstition. Superstition.
Huh?
Superstition.
Superstitions. Yeah, very good. So people do fall in this kind of superstitions, but it is not the truth. Here someone says giving donation is a pious act, therefore it is good. Donating with the objective of religion is a pious act. But in the aforesaid cases, donation and worship takes place due to fear of misery and greed of pleasures. Hence, it is assuredly vice, pap. Likewise, in many ways, they worship the Jyotisi Devas, stellar kinds of celestial gods. It will be gods, which too is a fallacy. Further, goddesses, Devis and Dahadis, etc., are found there. Many of them are Vyantaris, peripatetic goddesses, and Jyotisinis, stellar goddesses. People worship them with contrary belief of their characteristics. Several of them are imaginary goddesses. Even they are not goddesses, they are imaginary goddesses. Yet people worship them on the basis of their imaginary characteristics. Thus, worshipping Vyantar gods, goddess is forbidden. There was a movie, Oh My God. All this was depicted
Yes,
there.
sir. Yes, sir.
How,
He
how
goes
things
and
moving. There is a herd mentality in our country. Okay. So if someone does something, people keep on following, So all these are, in fact, as I said, the fifth chapter that Todamji wrote, and because of that only he was awarded a death sentence. That was also a fallout of that only. So there are many false things happening, and the purpose behind them is uh, to earn from that activity. They want to earn, they want to make money, and they want to live a very luxurious life. But recently you have seen Asaram Bapu and then Ram Rahim all going to the jails, and they were all self-proclaimed God, But one substance cannot do anything of the other substance. This principle is valid at all times, So how can anybody can do good or bad to us? If something good has to happen, it is because of our past karmas and not anything. Even preaching, like now I am teaching you. So it is not that I am teaching you and you are understanding. You are understanding on your own. And if you understand nicely, then I will be an instrumental cause. The scriptures would be an instrumental cause. But scriptures cannot make you understand. Okay? Because one substance cannot do anything of the other substance. Apart from that, we have principles of sequentially bound modification. There also, with that principle also, you can establish whatever has to happen has to happen. So nobody can prevent anything. Okay. So don't fall into this kind of wrong belief. So the next topic would be denial of worshipping Kshetrapal, Padmavati, etc. Okay. So we will read, we have some 7-8 minutes left. So we will finish reading it, and then some important points are there. So let's see how far we can go. Okay. Who will read? Madhuji, you read.
Yes, sir. Denial of worshipping Kshetrapal, Padmavati, etc. Someone may say here that no fault lies in worshipping the Kshetrapal, Dahari, Padmavati, etc. goddesses, Yaksha, Yakshini, etc. because all of them follow Jainism. Answer: in Jina's religion, worshipability is accepting and following the continence, vows, etc. But continence is not at all found in devas, celestial beings, and people worship these by believing them as true believers. But in Bhavanatrikas, residentials, peripatetic, and stellars, that is, three kinds of celestial beings. There is no prominence of possessing right belief. If people worship these devas, presuming them to possess right belief, then they not
Why not to?
then why not to worship the gods of Sarvartha Siddhi, heaven,
Sarvat Siddhi,
and
Sarvat Siddhi.
Sarvat Siddhi, yes, sir, heaven, and Lokantika Devas of fifth heaven, who certainly possess right belief. You may further say these Kshetrapal, Padmavati, etc. are excessively engrossed in Jina's adoration, but Swadharma Indra also indulges in Jina's adoration excessively and also possesses true belief. Why then to worship them, Kshetrapal, Padmavati, etc., by ignoring them, him? Further, if you will say, as the king has uh, chamberlains as attendants, so also the Tirthankara have Kshetrapals, etc., as attendants. But in some Samvasaran preaching arena of omniscient Lord, these Kshetrapalas, etc., have no status. Hence, all such belief is false. Moreover, as the Chamberlains help the visitors in meeting the king, similarly, these Kshetrapals, etc., do not have any role in arranging meeting with the Tirthankaras. In the case of Tirthankara, whoever, uh, whoever
Whosoever has the desire.
Yes, has the desire to worship, he can have his darshan, citing. There is no question of dependence on anyone. And see the height of ignorance. Those who have fearful, those who have fearful form possessed with sword, spear, etc., arms are being worshipped by singing and dancing. It is a pity that even in Jainism, the fearful form has become worshipable. So this too became similar to other non-Jaina faiths. Belief in such contrary practices is possible in Jaina's religion only under the influence of the rise of intense delusion. In this way, worshipping of Kshetrapals, etc., also is not worthwhile. Further,
Stop. So
yes.
here we stop. So we have started today late. So 4 minutes are left. So I'll just explain this one. So now we come to worshipping Kshetrapal, Padmavati and all. Okay. So in Jaina's religion, worshipability is acquired by accepting and following the continence, vows, okay, austerities. But continence is not at all found in Devas. These celestial beings, they can go maximum to the fourth stage. They cannot go beyond fourth stage. So they don't have vows, minor vows in their life, you know. So worshipping is happening only just because they have vows. But these people don't have vows. And people worship these by believing them as true believers. But in Bhavantrikas, so we were remembering the three names. So one is residentials, other is peripatetic, that is Vyantar. Residentials are Bhavanvasi, then Vyantar is peripatetic and stellars are Jyotisi. Three kind of celestial beings. There is no prominence of possessing right belief. In fact, the right believers are Vaimanik Dev. Vaimanik Dev, okay? If people worship these devas, presuming them to possess right belief, then why not to worship the gods of Sarvat Siddhi heaven and Lokadik devas of fifth heaven, who certainly possesses right belief? Okay. So these Lokadik devas are all Samyak Drashti, and the gods of Sarvat Siddhi, all monks, true monks, end up getting birth in Sarvat Siddhi and they are all right believers. You may further say that these Kshetrapal, Padmavati, etc. are excessively engrossed in Jina's adoration. But Saudharma Indra also indulges in Jina's adoration excessively and also possesses true belief. Why then to worship these by ignoring him? Okay. But we don't worship them also, Indras also. Okay. Further, if you will say, because Indra is also up to fourth stage. Okay. Only people with continence in their life, they are worth worshipping. Further, if you will say, as the king has chamberlains, guards, you know, Dwarpal, as attendants, so also the Tirthankars have Kshetrapals as attendants. But in Samvasaran, these Kshetrapals have no status. Hence, all such belief is false. So people generally say that the Kshetrapals are the Dwarpal of Tirthankars, but it is not so. Moreover, as the chamberlains help the visitors in meeting the king, similarly, the Kshetrapals, etc., do not have any role in arranging meeting with the Tirthankars. In the case of Tirthankar, whosoever has the desire to worship, he can have his darshan sighting. There is no question of dependence on anyone. And see the height of ignorance. Those who have fearful form possessed with sword, spear, etc. arms are being worshipped by singing and dancing. So we have Durga Mata, Kali Mata and Ambaji and all. Okay. It is a pity that even in Jainism, the fearful form has become more worshipable. So if you are God, then why you should keep sword and spear, right? So these two become similar to other non-Jain faiths. Belief in such contrary practices is possible in Jaina's religion only under the influence of the rise of intense delusion. So the delusion gets intense, then you go on believing in such things. In this way, worshipping of Kshetrapal also is not worthwhile. Okay. Now, for worshipping animals, cows, snakes, all these will be discussed in the next class. So we'll continue. Still fall deities are continuing, and then we will discuss the characteristics of false preceptors. Okay. So worshipping the deities is coming to an end. Still 1 or 2 pages are left. And then we'll move on to preceptor and then of course the religion. Okay. So this chapter deals with the characteristics of false gods, false preceptors and false religion. Okay, we should not, by knowing their actual characteristics and nature, we should refrain from worshipping them. Okay. And if we worship them, then what will happen? Two harms. One is your path of liberation will become remote, and the other is bondage of sins, inauspicious karma. Okay. So with this note, we had a lot of discussions today. So we could not cover more, but doesn't make, these decisions are very important because this is the first step towards the right path of liberation. First, get rid of Kudev, Kuguru, Kusastra, and then errors regarding 7 fundamentals. Okay. By removing this Kudev, Kuguru, Sastra's belief, you get into the right belief of true gods, true scriptures, and true monks. And then by reading the scriptures and understanding it, you can remove the errors of the 7 fundamentals and manifest right belief. Okay. So this is it. We'll continue next week. निज निधि निज में बताई, यह अनंत उपकार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना सत